Many influencers right now are thinking that the markets are going to collapse completely. Alt season is going to be cancelled in 2025. Is that going to be the case? I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to back that opinion up with some data points that I'm having right now, which most people are not looking at, which is going to be very mind-shocking or mind-bending, because I think most people right now are just expecting prices to come down, but on the back end there are some different signs. But for the altcoin season that might be cancelled in 2025, I want to give my remarks as well. And at the end of this video, guys, I'm going to answer some questions that I got from the community, some charts that people ask me to have a look at. I will have a look and go over these charts once I finish showing you all the data points that I want to talk about in today's video. So guys, let's jump straight into it. And guys, let's start, of course, with Bitcoin as usual. First, let me take a sip of coffee before we are going to have this heavy talk in today's video. But Bitcoin is definitely looking quite bearish when you are zooming out right here. It looks like that we just have a really big red candle. It's correcting right now. It is September. It is pretty normal to have a correction during September. We are also very late in the 60-day cycle, which we of course can see over on Will Portal. If we go to data and we go to Bitcoin cycles, then we can see we are on day 56. So it technically, from a time perspective, it really makes sense for Bitcoin to come down right here on day 56 into that 60-day cycle low. I personally believe, guys, that right now, in the shorter term time frame, the direction for Bitcoin is up. But if we are talking for the midterm time frame, longer term time frame, I'm going to be honest that the signs are a little bit mixed. And the reason why the signs are a little bit mixed is because we are very late in the 4-year cycle. This cycle has been, Bitcoin-wise, has been very similar as to previous cycles. Actually, it has been playing out almost like a textbook 4-year cycle. Right now, we are in the last phase of that 4-year cycle, which is getting closer to a timing period where we actually could be topping, right? But also, guys, and that is the thing with the last part of the cycle, where we are right now, we could be seeing a top because we are getting closer to a top. But normally, this comes along with crazy volatility, crazy upside moves, crazy bullishness, because we need to reach that climax, that extreme from the pendulum swing. So what I'm trying to tell you guys, little bit esoteric or energetical way right here, is this is a peak euphoria, a peak optimism. We need a peak optimism to eventually get a peak pessimism. That is a deep pessimistic sentiment, and you cannot just have a bear market and do not reach the lowest point, because the pendulum swings from one side to another side, and it's always most dark before dawn, right? And that's the same for the other way around. So for positivity, right now we have a bull market, which we can see with all these higher lows and exactly the 4-year time frame that we are in. We need to reach that point, the end of the pendulum swing. So we cannot, that's my understanding of the markets, we cannot have such a pessimistic bottom and topping, like for example a rounding topping. It has to reach an extreme. So if we do get a rounding topping right here, so right now this just comes down with a rounding topping, then I believe we have still need to visit that extreme, maybe Q1 of 2026, but still I'm not going to be too pessimistic, because what we are seeing right now, guys, this is what I personally feel. We are at the end of the 4-year cycle, which is the most crucial part. Here we are seeing most of the time the most crazy gains, right? It is September, the most bearish month for crypto. Right now we are coming down into the 60-day cycle low. A lot of influencers are bearish, a lot of people talking about the top. There's a lot of uncertainty in the markets. How do I know that? Because I feel that myself as well. I feel that uncertainty too. And from my experience, guys, when I feel that uncertainty, I actually see that as a good thing, because if I am too confident, it might mean that I am too mixed up with the market sentiment, right? Being too confident is never good. Buy when others are fearful. That is a quote that really aligns with what I'm trying to say right here, because when I bought Bitcoin right here at 15K and when I bought it at 3K, of course, I put all chips on the table because I really believe everything lines up in that sense. And I do have to say that the bear markets entering for me were always easier than the bull markets exiting. That is also something I need to know about myself. But most trades that I made during the past couple of years, when I enter and I feel a little bit of this uncertainty, I feel a little bit fearful, I actually see it as a positive sign, because normally it means the market feels that as well, and that is good, because where we are in the cycle, we should feel uncertainty, because it is not certain. We should feel uncertainty. So one thing that I've pointed out already many times in the past is the stablecoin dominance. This one gets me a little bit on the weekly time frame, a little bit scary, and I've said that already once we broke out right here, and I've said it also on the retest that okay, probably we will get a correction. We have to see how this is going to unfold, but as you can see, we have a falling wedge formation bringing out to the upside. So this is the only sign for me personally that actually backs up the idea that that we might going to see a further correction in Bitcoin, and therefore most likely also in altcoins. If you go right here into the shorter term time frame, it looks already slightly different. So you can see already right here that the behavior of the RSI really comes up, right? But the price has not really come up, right? It's consolidating. So it can create some space to maybe come down. We run into some resistance right here as well, the middle of the channel. So that is for the shorter term time frame why I'm more sure that the price will go up after that 60-day cycle low, because everything is aligning, guys. We are coming down into the 60-day cycle low. The sentiment is pretty bad. The stablecoin dominance running into resistance. That is very nice. And most importantly for me is if you go to willportal.com, and we actually just published a new article about Williams Alligator. I would definitely recommend everyone to read that. If you want to learn about this, it's an indicator. But if we go to Will Portal and we go to the buying and selling pressure heat map. So let me get rid of the sentiment for now. And we go to the buying and selling pressure heat maps. Let me scroll a little bit down so you guys can see it pretty good. Then we can see that the selling pressure is decreasing significantly. So here we have a high intensity red. High intensity red, bam, the price comes down. But here we had that too. High intensity red, price comes down until we have low intensity red. But you need to have that aligned with other indicators. So this just shows the pressure from upwards. The selling pressure is not that heavy. The selling pressure right now is not that heavy. So there's not much selling pressure. Therefore, the risk is to the upside. Also, when we look at the volume momentum index, we are deep in the red. This can take some time to get back up, to build that momentum again, but we are at the end of the pendulum swing in the shorter term time frame, and I definitely believe the direction is up. We don't have that bullish divergence, but we do get oversold conditions right now coming back up. Maybe this one comes down again into the 60-day cycle low, creates a higher low than what we have right here, and then it creates as well again that bullish divergence. But same story for me personally, the direction is up. So the story with Bitcoin for me is pretty clear. And then what we then have to do is we have to see how Bitcoin is going to react in that next 60-day cycle, October. I really hope October is going to be a very bullish month. But if that is going to be less bullish, whether there's strength or not, we have to see that. That's going to be very important. That's going to tell us again what we can expect then for November and December. That's why we have to watch it unfold and do not make too many statements right now that is for sure happening. That's for sure this is going to happen, or for sure this is going to happen. But for right now, shorter term time frame, in the next coming days, we might get a little dip into that support. But for the next coming weeks, for me personally, all the data points that prices are going up. We have a nice tweet here shared by Cole Gardner, Theta dominance buy signal, also buy signal going on. Historically, that also has been very accurate in good buys. There are some false signals, as you can see right here, but generally when you see these signals, the price goes up. So I'm not the only one who thinks this. Cole Gardner, actually pretty good analyst if you ask me, he also thinks that. Then guys, I have to show you this chart, and this is Apex, and Apex has just been so crazy. And the crazy thing is, I mentioned this token in my previous video when it was trading at 35 cents. And what I said in my previous video, that we are seeing a W formation and that the W formation is breaking out, right? And we have seen that in the past as well. The moment Apex token is breaking out, we are just seeing crazy gains, and this time was exactly the same. So we have seen a gain of 600% from the breakout I mentioned in the previous video. So this happened in a very short amount of time. It just happens almost instantly, and that's crazy. And I also believe that these are positive signs for the markets, that we are seeing some altcoins left and right just pop off and making some good gains, right? That means the market is active, people are still speculating. So this is pretty good. Apex, by the way, is a decentralized exchange. I'm using it pretty much. I think it's the best decentralized exchange out there. It's very easy to use, and the best thing about it, it is built and backed by Bybit, one of the biggest exchanges out there. And that's also why there is so much room to grow for Apex, although I would not buy anymore after such a huge pump, of course, but you can put this on your radar if you didn't bought after last video. But the amount of market cap from Apex is still very low when you look at other market caps from other decentralized exchanges, which have less volume than Apex and is not backed by bigger platforms. So Bybit is actually the biggest platform and is backing Apex. So Apex is the decentralized exchange from Bybit, and I find that very promising because Bybit is just such a big institution. Right? So if you guys are interested in trading on Apex, I have an affiliate link down below where you can get a 5% discount on futures fees and a 15% discount on spot fees. They are also going to arrange something in the future with this specific link. So if you are interested in using a decentralized exchange, check Apex down below in the comment section. Then guys, I want to bring up Litecoin, and I think Litecoin is a good example for a case that we might see a more prolonged market right now instead of a regular 4-year cycle. Do get me right, for right now, my instance and my stance in the markets is still a traditional 4-year cycle. Why? Because we are not seeing that much evidence that it has been different. So I'm still going to stick to what's happening right now in the markets, but I'm going to keep my mind open for other opportunities as well, for other outcomes as well, because never stick to just one rule basically. But what we can see with Litecoin, and I think this is maybe one of the most interesting charts for that, is that we have this super long consolidation, 7 years consolidation in this triangle formation. I believe, guys, that this triangle formation will break out to the upside. I believe we are going to see a similar move as we have seen with XRP. Right, XRP, when it had that crazy rally, which we traded right here on the channel, was a crazy move. It was a generational move, maybe not, but once in a 7-year move, once in a 4-year move, right? But this is also like, this has been boiling up for 7 years, and we don't see the breakout right now. Maybe it comes still down. That's what I'm saying. This triangle has some time to go, right? So right here, this would be end of 2026, right? So maybe there is a outcome possible where we are not going to see that full-blown altcoin season right now in this market, and that Bitcoin is going to correct, or that the market is going to mature a little bit, that this is still going to have some time until we are seeing that massive breakout. And once this breaks out, guys, it will be, believe me, it will be explosive. Litecoin is the silver to Bitcoin. It has been coiling up since 2017, 7 years. The longer we are in the triangle, the longer it's coiling up. Next month, there are some announcements for Litecoin for possibly ETFs, early October, that can be interesting. So I just see a couple of scenarios. Maybe we form like a high-low right here. We still follow that regular 4-year cycle. Maybe it needs more time with all the other altcoins, of course, and it's going to have some a longer consolidation until it breaks out. But for me, effect is the chances that this breaks out to the upside is significantly higher than breaking out to the downside. I'm actually really confident that this will break to the upside. Why? Because it's such an established token. It is the silver to Bitcoin. It's one of the oldest tokens out there. It's one of the next to Dogecoin, it's one of the oldest tokens out there. And we've entered this formation from an uptrend. So technical standpoint, a fundamental standpoint, they both point to a continuation of this uptrend. The big question for me personally is just when that is going to happen. And so that's why when people say like, yeah, there won't be an altcoin season this bull cycle, then I have my doubts, because like I said, the pendulum swings. So the pendulum has to swing into this extreme optimism, extreme euphoria that will drag in retail. Retail likes to speculate. Therefore, there's an altcoin season. So it's difficult to imagine this peak euphoria without an altcoin season, right? With rotating liquidity, because whales are also rotating liquidity to make more and to drag retail and screw them, basically, right? To screw the new people who are entering the market. So maybe the market has changed, but like I said, I'm not going to bet on that, because I'm not seeing that much evidence of that right now. We are seeing some altcoins pop. Bitcoin is following the 4-year cycle. Everything is lining up pretty good. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to fold in the last moments because I feel some uncertainty right now, which I think is quite prevalent in the markets. But this is just something I wanted to share. Then guys, let's have a look at XLM, because XLM, I have gotten many requests to look at XLM. So let's do that. What do I think about XLM? Well, I hold some XLM. I definitely hold some XLM. I hold some XRP as well. I sold, of course, most of it after these rallies, because I just got insane gains, right? Like if you just wake up overnight or in a 1 week or 2 weeks, you double, triple, quadruple your portfolio. I've learned from the past, when you have these crazy gains, just take profits. Even though the narrative would say like New World Order, all these crazy things happening, just take profits. And if you really believe like all these things are going to happen, then you can always keep a small bag, aside. You don't have to be all in when you already doubled or tripled your stack, right? I believe, because I've seen so many times, that's what I have experienced in previous bull markets, that I have my eyes on one price, and then it just doesn't reach that price, and then I just don't take profits at all. And I've learned that scaling out and scaling in is better. Sometimes you got to be quick. Sometimes you want to go all in when you have a very good feeling about it, because I feel feeling is very important in the markets. I had a good feeling about Apex the other day. Bam, this token 3, 4, almost 10x from the video that I created. That's insane. But yeah, guys, that's also with Apex, like take profits. Like I definitely took profits along the way when we had this huge green candle. So yeah, when I'm looking at XLM, I'm seeing that we are close to resistance. This thing can break out. I'm seeing some form of a W formation. I think it's pretty bullish. I personally also believe that the opportunities in the markets are elsewhere. This one already made quite a significant gain. So that's why I prefer a chart like Litecoin right now rather than XLM. I would have to look better XLM compared with all the other charts. But generally, guys, I see in this chart, I see strength. But I also see already played out strength. So that means that the potential downside is also going to increase, right? But generally speaking, I'm bullish on XLM in an altcoin season, but I do believe that different altcoins could see something better. So let's have a look at a different altcoin. I got some questions about this one too, Bitcoin Cash, and this one I find pretty interesting. So let's remove the drawings right here. And why is this interesting? Well, I don't know. Nah, I'm joking. The reason why I think this interesting is when you take this line right here and you make like a resistance right here, it actually shows that it has been breaking some form of resistance. We can have a look at what the volume says. If the volume really increased during that breakout, we have some increase, not that much actually. But the significant thing is this has been 2017, right? So 2017 top, then 2021 right here, 2024, bam. So this is also 7 years, 6-7 years resistance that we do suddenly break out, right? We don't have a strong move, and maybe this will eventually result in, coming down, which also kind of like a smaller W formation that we are seeing right here. But there is some movement going on. It has been breaking some barriers. And another reason why I like Bitcoin Cash is not really because of the fundamentals, but I've seen this in previous bull markets, especially in 2017. The narrative, this is very important with investing, guys. I'm just going to speak a little bit my thoughts right now. And when you are investing, when you are trading, especially in crypto, one of the most superpowers that you can have is to predict the next narrative. Because the narrative is where people connect emotionally to, and then once they connect emotionally to a narrative, which sometimes is maybe even guided by some bigger forces, once you connect to a narrative, money flows there because they are emotionally attached, right? So they easily put their money there. So we had narratives like digital gold for Bitcoin. We had narratives like DeFi, decentralized finance, so all the decentralized finance. We had the narrative of ICOs. We had recent narratives? We had meme narratives, right? Suddenly the meme has a narrative and then everyone goes to memes. So I personally believe that the Dino tokens, one of the earliest tokens that have the longest track record, have the most secure blockchain, because it is already so long, it has stood the test of time. That's very important. I think that these tokens can have a big comeback. And a couple of these tokens are Dash, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, all these very Zcash. We're also seeing a lot of strength already in Zcash. All these old tokens that have been forgotten about in 2021, because in that bull market no one was really busy with these tokens, but they were very popular in 2017, very popular. I think they are going through a bit larger cycle as well, where they right now can gain that traction again, which they had in 2017, because they skipped 2021. Why? Because they have often very big communities, because they are already so long in the game. They have big communities and they have that proven track record, because they are already so long in the game. So crypto is not that old, so you cannot be that long in the game, right? If you like Litecoin there, you cannot be longer in the game than them, because crypto is not that old. So yeah, guys, that's what I'm thinking. Another couple of thoughts that I want to share with you is I really believe that the world is going absolutely nuts at the moment. There's so much things going on, which I'm speaking more about on my second channel. But now and then I want to put the financial part in this video as well. I think we are really born in a special time. This is not a normal period like our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents have seen. Maybe the great-great-great-grandparents have been going through a very unique time as well with the Second World War, many things that are happening over there. But I think the time that we are living right now are even more extraordinary, and there are forces that are coming to the surface. And also financially, like a lot of things are going to change. In the future, many things will going to change. And I feel there's a lot of fear right now, but I feel that fear is a little bit misplaced right now, because I think the coming years until 2030, we're probably going to see markets being bullish. We get some corrections along the way, but generally speaking, I might make a separate video about this, but from the research that I've done, I definitely see 2027, 28, 29. I have to make a separate video about this, but I definitely believe that the markets can be bullish, or at least it is a unique opportunity for every single one of us to create wealth and to build a life that you can thrive on for a period of time. Like we talked a lot about with the Shemitah cycle, right? We have the 7-year cycle. Then in the last part of the 7 year, the land, like the prices will go up very much. But then you will have a period where there won't be any opportunities anymore to create that wealth. So you need to store that wealth in the good times in order to survive the more difficult times. And I think that is something that we all have to be very conscious of, and we all have to take responsibility of that. So make a plan for yourself how you want to do that, of course. And you can discuss it in the community that we have, of course, the wealth transfer community. Link is down below in the description. But yeah, make a plan for yourself how you are going to divide your wealth. Like make a plan, like you want to have a part in crypto, you maybe want to have a part in precious metals, you want to have a part on your bank account, maybe you want to have an offshore bank account. It depends on your personal situation. Maybe you want to, spread your money into multiple countries. Maybe you want to buy some different fiat currencies. Like all these questions, but I think it's good to think about it, to structure it properly, to think about it because right now you still have time to make nice structures, to relocate or to do the things that you think are important for the time that is coming ahead, which might be a little bit more difficult. But I believe that many people are expecting that difficult time very soon. And I personally think that people are expecting it too soon. Okay, guys, and that's what I'm going to say in today's video. 2 things that I want to mention still. If you would like to join Apex, like I said, I have an affiliate link down below in the description. You can just connect with a MetaMask wallet over on Apex. It's a decentralized exchange. You will get some benefits using my link. Also, the Femix platform has created a special bonus for our community, which you can get a bonus up to $30,000 depending, of course, on your deposits and trading volume. But the more you deposit and the more trading volume you have, the higher the bonus goes. So if you're still looking for exchanges, Femix also does not require you to verify that much. You can access it globally. Make sure to check it out. I have a link down below in the description as well. Then guys, I hope the sun is shining on the place where you are at right now, as it is shining right here. Absolutely beautiful. I wish every single one of you a beautiful day today. Drop questions in the comments if you want, and I will try to answer them in future videos. And yeah guys, I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.